Okay, this is page 291. It's a continuation of 5-4, finding the percent of a quantity. And right now we're using percents as a decimal. Later we'll use a ratio to find those. But right now we're converting the percentage to a decimal by dividing by 100. So when I divide that by 100, it would be 0.60 times the quantity. When I take 0.60 times 90, it's going to tell me 54. So 54 is 60% of 90. Again, 0.25 times 32.4, 0.25 times 32.4. It's going to tell me that 25% is 8.1. Now be careful here. 110 divided by 100 is 1.1. So it's 1.1 times 300. 330. Notice it's greater than 300 because it's higher. It's 110%. And then again, be careful. 0.2 divided by 100, because I have to take, there's a decimal in the percentage. So I take 0.2 divided by 100, and it's 0.002. Now I'm going to multiply that times 6,500, which equals 13. Something to consider is investigating number 8 and number 10. This one is less than this, but that's 25%. Why? Why is it less? Think about that. Next, a baker made 60 muffins. By noon, 45% of the muffins were sold. How many muffins were sold by noon? So we have 45% of 60, which is 0.45 times 60. And that is 27. So 27 were sold. Okay. Next, there are 30 treasures hidden in the castle. Latoya found 80% of them. How many treasures did she find? So 80 divided by 100 is 0.8 times 30. So when I take my calculator and do 0.8 times 30, it tells me that she found 24. That's 80% of 30. Number 13, a school library has 260 DVDs in its collection. 45% of the DVDs are science and 40% are history. How many of the DVDs are other subjects? So 45 plus 40 is 85 are those two, which means 100 minus 85, 15% are other subjects. So that means I have to divide that by 100, 0.15 times 260. So that's 15% of 260. 39 are other subjects. So you see what I did here? I had to combine these. That was 85%. Subtract that from 100 to find the percentage that is other, and then find that amount of 260. 14, Mitch planted cabbage, squash, and carrots on his 150-acre farm. He planted half the farm with squash and 22% with carrots. How many acres did he plant with cabbage? So half, remember, 1/2 is 50%. So we have 50% plus 22%. 72% were the other two. Again, 100 minus 72, 28% is cabbage. That's the difference that's left over when I combine those, 28%. So I take 0.28 times 150. tells me that 42 acres, I know this is hard to see, 42 acres are cabbage, okay? Again, half is 50 plus the 22%, that's a total of 72. When I subtract that percentage from 100%, I have 28% left over. Okay, so 28% of 150 is 42 acres. Okay, these you're comparing, so you remember 0.45 times 60. This is 27. 0.6 times 45. Ooh, that's also 27. That's very rare. You can't just look at the percentages and stuff. You have to figure out 10% of 90. 0.1 times 90 is 9. 90% of 100 is 90. So this is less than that. 75% of 8, so 0.75 times 8. 75% of 8 is 6, so that's a big percentage. 8%, so 8 divided by 100 gives me 0.08 times 7.5. So this value is 0.6, so that's greater. Remember, you have to divide by 100 and then multiply to find that amount. Sarah had 12 free throws attempts during a game and made at least 75% of the free throws. What is the greatest number of free throws Sarah could have made during the game? So she made at least 75%. So 75% of 12. So that means 0.75 times 12. This will tell us and made at least 75. What is the greatest number of free throws Sarah could have missed? So once I find this 0.75 times 12, okay, so she made at least 9. So 12 minus 9, she could have missed 3. No more than 3 because it says, what's the greatest number of free throws Sarah could have missed? Okay, but she made 75%. So this is what she made at least. She could have made more, but the most she could have missed was 3 because she wasn't missing more than, she made at least 9 shots. Chrissy likes to tip a server at a restaurant a minimum of 20%. She and her friend have a lunch bill of $18.34. Chrissy says the tip will be $3.30. Her friend said that is not a minimum of 20%. Well, it's an easy answer. 20% of $18.34. So 0.20 times $18.34. Take my calculator. 0.20 times 18.34. 3.668. So 20% is this. Chrissy says it'd be 330. So her friend is correct. Her friend is correct because this right here is 20%. And she thinks the other girl thinks it's 330. It's too low. Okay, let's take a look at the back. Okay, so let's run through this. I know this is a long video. 1/3 of the juniors in Linwood High School marching band play the trumpet. The band has 50 members, and the table shows what percentage of the band members are freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So here's our table. What do you need to find? How many players play the trumpet? So we need to find trumpet players. Okay, how can you use the table to help you solve the problem? So I come over here. It says that 1/3 of the juniors in the band play the trumpet. The band has 50 members. So if I find the number of juniors, okay, so that's 24%. of 50 are juniors. So I'm going to find that a while. 0.24 times 50. So it tells me there are 12 juniors. Okay. What operations can you use to find the number of juniors? So I'm going to divide and multiply, because I divided 24 by 100 and got 0.24. Then I multiplied it by 50 to find that there were 12 juniors. So I already did this down here, 0.24 times 50, 12 juniors. Okay. The band has 50 members. There are 12 juniors in the band. Up here it says the band has 1/3 of juniors. So 1/3 of 12, which is 1/3 times 12, cross cancel, 4. 4 juniors. 4 play the trumpet. Okay, now that's a lot to walk through. I had to find the number of juniors, which is 12, and then find 1/3 of 12, which is 4. Okay, we're going to figure out these here, and then we'll be done. So 0.25 times 44 tells me that this is 11. 0.2 times 50 tells me that this is 10. So 11 is greater than 10. 0.35 times 60, this is 21. 0.6 times 35, this is also 21. I'm finding 35% of 60, 60% of 35. That doesn't usually work out like that. They found those numbers on purpose. 10% of 30, 0.1 times 30 is 3. So 10% of 30 is 3. 0.3 times 100, 30% of 100 is 30. So this is less than that. Okay, now take your time going through this. Look at the questions yourself and try to answer them all.